today's topic, popping out of the magical box. By and large, we are going to discuss microsporogenesis in detail and the changes that takes place in the pollen and anther during this process. I have discussed structure of anther in the previous video. Do watch that video as all my lessons are interlinked. Watch this video till the very end as I have tried to simplify the concept. A very good day to each and everyone, and I welcome you all once again to Alnaz Academy for the part 4 of chapter 1, Reproduction in Lower and Higher Plants, class 12, Biology, revised syllabus 2020. It also covers NCERT unit 6 chapter 2. And I am your facilitator, Nusrat Siddiqui, to help you and to guide you, having experience of more than 15 years in the field of teaching. Let us begin with a beautiful quote by B.B. King. The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you. Yes, nobody can take your learning from you, but you can always share your learning with others. Let us quickly do a recap as to how the walls of anthers are formed. So anther comprises of epidermis and archisporial cells. Archisporial cells undergo periclinal and anticlinal division, forming parietal tissue and sporogenous tissue. Parietal tissue is divided into endothecium, middle layer and tapetum, and sporogenous tissue forms pollen mother cells or PMC or microspore mother cells. Then from microspore mother cells or pollen mother cells we get pollen tetrad, and from pollen tetrad we get pollen grains. So this process is called as microsporogenesis in short. This is what we are going to cover in detail in this video. In the previous video we have studied about the anther walls, their types and functions. We have also understood the formation of microsporangia and the compactly arranged sporogenous cells in it, which we call them as pollen mother cell or microspore mother cell. As the anther matures, the this microsporangia grow bigger in size, resulting the space between the sporogenous cells. Now remember that the cell is not increasing, but the change in the microsporangia, it becomes bigger. Microsporangia becomes bigger, resulting in the space between the sporogenous cells. Now we have this microsporangia which is bigger in size and we call it as pollen sac. Okay, and each cells in the pollen sac are capable of producing pollen grains and they are termed as microspore mother cell or pollen mother cells. Okay. However, few of the pollen mother cells, they degenerate and they are used up by the developing pollen. These mother cells undergo one meiotic cell division and forms 4 haploid microspore tetrad. The term tetrad is given to these microspores because 4 haploid cells are attached to each other for some time. And over here the image which you see of this tetrad, this is the most commonly found tetrad in the angiosperm. There are 5 types of microspore tetrad. The first one is tetrahedral tetrad, which is seen in dicotyledon plants. In this, the 4 haploid cells are arranged in a tetrahedral shape. So right now you can see 1, 2, 3 haploid microspore, and the 4th one is towards the backside giving a tetrahedral shape. The next one is isobilateral tetrad seen in monocot. Here the pollens are arranged laterally to each other. Next one is decussate, which is seen in magnolia. In this, the 2 haploid cells are arranged at right angle to each other. The 4th one is T-shaped, which is seen in Aristolochia, and in this the 2 haploid cells are arranged longitudinally to each other, whereas 2 are arranged transversely to each other. The last one is linear shaped tetrad, and linear shaped tetrad is mostly seen in Holophila. An important thing to note is all the type of tetrad are seen in Aristolochia. So in Aristolochia we can see all these 5 types of tetrad. Up till now we have discussed that The microspore mother cell is a diploid cell, and this diploid cell undergoes one meiotic cell division resulting in formation of microspore tetrad. Now microspore tetrad means four microspores are fused together and they are haploid in nature. Now this microspore tetrad are acted upon, means on this microspore tetrad the enzyme which is secreted by the tapetum helps in releasing them or helps the pollen grain to detach themselves from each other, resulting in the formation of four pollen grains. Okay, so microsporogenesis microsporogenesis is the process of formation of microspores. This pollen grain we call them as microspores. So the process of formation of microspores from the microspore mother cell is known as microsporogenesis. Let us study the structure of pollen grains. You will be really amazed at the variety of architecture in the size, shapes, color and design which are seen in the pollen grains of different species. A detailed study of pollen is called as palynology. Pollen has its own allergy part, means it causes allergy, as well as there are some benefits. Let us first see the allergy. The pollens which are present in the air and which causes allergy are called as aeroallergens. So these aeroallergens are those pollen grains which are present in the air and causes allergy. Next, there is the pollen of ambrosia plant which causes hay fever. Then there are respiratory disorders which are caused by the pollen grains, and these disorders are such as asthma, bronchitis. Then pollen of parthenium or carrot grass which comes into India through the imported wheat are also known to cause the allergy, and these parthenium and carrot grass are now to be found everywhere in India. Now let us switch over to the benefits. The first and foremost important benefit is it is rich in nutrients and they are used as food supplements as well as tablets and syrup, and in western countries the athletes are using it to improve their performance. Apart from that, it is also been given to the race horses so their performance can also improve. So these are the facts of pollen grain. Apart from that, the largest pollen is of mirabilis plant, the smallest is of myosotis, and the longest one is zostera. So these were few of the facts of the pollen grain. Let us see the structure of pollen grain. Pollen grain is spherical in shape and the size varies from 20 to 50 micrometers in diameter, and it is haploid cell. It consists of two layers, the exine and the intine. The outer layer is exine and the inner layer is intine. Intine is a thin layer and it is made up of cellulose and pectin, whereas the exine is the outermost layer. It is thick layer and it is made up of sporopollenin. This thick layer is a complex and non-biodegradable layer. The exine also consists of prominent aperture. Aperture means opening, and this opening is called as germ pore. And these germ pore are present where there is no sporopollenin. So over here in these two gaps, you can see between this sporopollenin, you can see some gaps between them, and these gaps are called as germ pore. So germ pore are of two types, which are spherical, they are called as germ pore, and which are lens shaped, they are called as furrow. I hope this is clear. We have seen the structure of pollen grain where we have seen the inner layer as intine and the outer layer exine. We have also seen the germ pore. So germ pore serves as the site of formation of pollen tube exiting the pollen body. So from this germ pore, the formation of pollen tube takes place. Now we are going to see the process of development of male microgametophyte. So in the beginning, what happens? Only nucleus of the pollen grains gets divided by unequal mitotic division. As a result, what happens? Two unequal size of nucleus are formed. The smaller one, which is present near the wall, the smaller one, this is the smaller one present near the wall, is called as generative nucleus, and the large one is called as vegetative nucleus or tube nucleus. Now both this nucleus get surrounded by the cytoplasm and they become dense. Then these are again followed by an unequal cytokinesis. Cytokinesis means the cytoplasm is now dividing, resulting in two unequal size of cells. Now we call the bigger one as the vegetative cell or tube cell, that is the larger cell is called as vegetative cell or tube cells, whereas the smaller one is called as generative cell, which is present, which is a small cell and a small nucleus is present, and it is called as generative cell. At this stage, the generative cell becomes spindle shaped. So you can see this is the spindle shaped generative cell, and it detaches itself from the wall and enter into the vegetative cell. Now the pollen is bicell. One is of the generative cell and another one is of the vegetative cell. And in 60% of the angiosperm, pollination of the pollen grain takes place in the binucleated cell or two cell stage. Okay, so at this stage we say that anther matures and pollen grains are released from the anther through the process of dehiscence. The second mitotic division of this generative cell takes place in the pollen tube. This pollen tube is exited from the germ pores. So the second mitotic division takes place in the pollen tube, which is exited from the germ pore, and this happens in the post-pollination stage. In the 40% of the remaining angiosperm, the generative cell undergoes a mitotic division in the cell itself and forms two male gametes, and this results in the formation of three cell. So this is called as three cell stage, and this development takes place in the sporangia of the anther, and the anther releases this pollen grain as a three-stage cell, and this happens in 40% of the angiosperm. Some development which takes place in the pollen and is at post-pollination stage. So here we can see the pollen tube which has been formed, and this happens in the post-pollination stage when the pollen lands on the stigma and the pollen tube is formed. We are going to discuss this in our upcoming video. We have discussed what are the changes which has taken place in the microspore. Now we are going to discuss the changes which takes place in the matured anther. So when the anther matures, we all know that anther comprises of four walls: epidermis, endothecium, middle layer, tapetum, and connective. Connective is the sterile tissue. Okay, now when anther matures, the middle layer and the tapetum, they degenerate. So as a result, the mature anther has got only two layers, that is epidermis and endothecium, which are present in the form of outer covering. Okay, and the sterile tissue which is present between the lobes of the anther also degenerate. So now both the pollen sac of each anther, they fuse together to form a single pollen sac. Therefore, when we see the mature anther, we see that there are only two pollen sac. The dehiscence of anther basically takes place during the dry season, where the endothelium tries to contract due to the loss of water, but the innermost radial wall do not contract due to the fibrous thickening. As a result, an incurving of the outer wall. So there is an incurving which takes place of the outer wall of the anther, and this incurving results in the exertion, or they exert force or tension over the surface of the anther. Now due to this tension, what happens? The thin wall of stomial, so they exert tension over here, they are exerting tension, and the thin wall of stomial, it breaks off, resulting in the bursting of the anther or dehiscence of the anther, which takes place, and then the pollen grains are released through the process of dehiscence. Let us now study the mode of dehiscence. So The first one is longitudinal dehiscence. So in longitudinal dehiscence, the anther it dehisces from the longitudinal axis of the theca. The second one is poricidal dehiscence. In poricidal dehiscence, the dehiscence of anther it takes place through the pores of the theca. The next one is transverse dehiscence. So in transverse dehiscence, the dehiscing is taking place at the right angle of the long axis. So dehiscence is taking place over here at the right angle to the long axis. And the last one is volvular dehiscence. So in volvular dehiscence, the pore from where the dehiscence is taking place, that is covered with the help of the pore flap-like structure. So the pore is covered with the help of flap-like structure forming a valve structure. That's the reason why it is called as valvular dehiscence. So four type of dehiscence: longitudinal, poricidal, transverse and valvular. Let us now discuss pollen viability. Pollen viability refers to the ability of the pollen grains to perform the functions of delivering male gametes to the embryo sac. What does this mean? After the pollens are released from the anther, it should land on the stigma and start developing into the pollen tube so that the male gamete reaches the embryo sac. Viability of pollen grains varies from species to species and it may varies between minutes and years. Pollen of rice and wheat has the viability of approximately 30 minutes and they are termed as short-lived pollens, whereas the pollens of Ginkgosi or Pinaxi has a validity of approximately varying from 6 months to 1 year and they are termed as long-lived pollen. Pollen grains are stored in liquid nitrogen at a temperature of minus 196 degrees Celsius and such pollens are used as pollen banks. Let us quickly summarize. We have discussed about microsporogenesis, which is the process of formation of microspore or pollen through the pollen mother cell through the process of meiosis. And the pollen grains, they are haploid cell and the first male gametophyte. We have discussed about the types of tetrad. They are tetrahedral, isobilateral, decussate, T-shaped and linear. Certain facts of pollen grain which we have discussed are some species of pollen, they are beneficial to us as well as some they causes allergy to us. Then we have studied about the structure of pollen grain, and in structure of pollen grain the outer layer which is exine is made up of sporopollenin, which is one of the highly resistant substance known to the living world and it can withstand high temperature. Acid base and alkali base have no effect on sporopollenin. We have also discussed about the mode of dehiscence. So there are four modes of dehiscence: the longitudinal mode of dehiscence, poricidal mode, then we have studied about transverse mode and valvular mode of dehiscence. Last we have discussed about the viability of the pollen grain, as well as we have also discussed that the pollen grains, they are released from the anther in the 2-cell stage or 3-cell stage. That's all for today. If you have any questions, do write to me at alnazacademyofficial@gmail.com. So till we meet next time, stay safe, stay positive, and do like, subscribe and share this video with your friends so that they may also benefit. Till then, take care, bye bye, thank you and happy learning.